Hi everybody, hi Noga.
Hi Gil.
Hi. So welcome to another video in our series breaking down and psychoanalyzing characters from Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire. And this is actually our second video in a three-part mini-series about the sociopath in the story. And today we want to talk about Ramsay Snow, Ramsay Bolton. He's a horrible guy. And obviously you want to talk about his traumas, but you're not going to justify his actions. You're just explaining, right?
Right.
Woman-splaining his actions.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So let's start from the very beginning.
Okay, his birth.
Well, even before that, his conception. We know that his biological mother was
A common folk woman, whatever.
exactly, and she married a miller in Bolton's territory
Okay.
without letting him know.
Okay.
And as an act of power, Bolton went over there, he killed her husband, and then he raped her.
Okay.
And we know that sometime later, she brought Ramsay to his door.
A year later, she came to my gates with a squalling baby in her arms. A baby she claimed was mine. I nearly had her whipped, and the child thrown in the river.
And she didn't stick around.
She didn't stick around.
Okay, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. So basically, he was abandoned at the doorstep by his mother. Roose Bolton almost killed him when he saw him. Like, that was his initial instinct, but then he saw that he looked like him, and he decided to keep him and raise him in his estate.
And his dad, that's not the best role model out there. The guy, he's also kind of a sociopath, doesn't care about anything or anybody. He chose his wife because Walder Frey promised him her weight in gold, so he chose the heaviest one just because he wanted money, and he didn't have any trouble betraying the Starks. He was a bannerman of the Starks, and in the North, that's saying something, that you betray the Starks. It's not like any other minor house usurping the high house of the region, right? It's something extra. So he's a special kind of evil.
A special kind of evil. So it's also the genetics of the Dark Triad that we spoke about. I mean, Roose Bolton definitely possesses those qualities as well.
He's a Machiavellian, right?
He's a Machiavellian, but he's also a psychopath and and a narcissist. I mean,
Right.
yeah, he has all those qualities, and so Ramsay is a bit like that also because he got it genetically, but also because of his environment, right? The circumstances of also his the way he was brought up.
In a castle, so he's kind of privileged, but I don't know, nobody told him how to be.
Yeah, because he's also a bastard, so maybe he won't be the Lord, you know? So what do you do with this kind of boy that you don't know what he's being raised for? And Roose was really like a tantalizing object, like he was all the time taunting him and like dangling the privilege and, you know, the house name in front of him,
Right.
and all the time taking it away, like on the one hand saying, okay, you've earned something, maybe you're starting to earn it, on the other hand just like chastising
Right,
him,
right.
tempting him to like him and to be like him, but also saying you're not good enough all the time.
You're worried about your position.
My position is quite clear. I'm your son. Until a better alternative comes along.
You're just not good enough.
Also, I think it's very symbolic that that Ramsay was born out of an act of violence, like in the sense of the story. That he was born from violence, and then the only thing that he can give to the world is violence.
We don't know how much tenderness Ramsay ever experienced as a baby. I mean, think about a mother who is in mourning, who is post-traumatic herself.
Because
She was raped,
she was raped. Okay.
and she saw her beloved husband die cruelly.
He was a good man.
He was a good man, and now she's alone. She's a single mother with a baby that she doesn't want. They're forced to raise alone a child that she never chose to have. She's still really, you know, trying to figure out her own wounds, and, you know, having a baby. We know that
It's a reminder.
It's a reminder, the baby, and we also know that many times babies that have this kind of predisposition, that, you know, as adults they start showing these qualities, have a really bad temperament as babies. So he was crying all the time. She didn't feel like, you know, maybe attending to him. We don't know, you know, she looked at him, she probably felt hatred. and disgust, and this is what he saw in her eyes. And so it's not an easy way to be brought up in, you know. It's not a way that develops a kind of empathy and kind of like also a positive self-image.
Right. So when you have a negative self-image and your mom doesn't love you, then you become a crazy sociopath who likes to skin people alive and torture them and all that.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. People have different predispositions. I mean, they can go about, you know, and also the conditions are so complex that you can't really know what will.
Right.
Yeah,
because it's a very violent world.
It's a violent world, and it has violent standards, and you know.
Right. And also, you can see that if we compare him to Joffrey, okay, so both of them are sociopaths and they don't care about anybody, but they're a different kind of a cruel. Like Ramsay, he's a very special kind of a cruel. His cruelty has stamina.
Mm-hmm.
He, like Joffrey, he's cruel just like this, like a cat who drops something from the table. Ramsay, it's a whole project, like a years-long plan. I'm gonna break this guy down this way, torture him, all that shit. That's very, very, very scary.
Right. And there's a real difference there, because Joffrey, what he does is treat people like objects, right? And I mean, that's his cruelty. He just doesn't see the subject in them. What Ramsay enjoys is taking a subject and breaking them down, breaking them into an object. So that's his pleasure. That's where he derives his pleasure. And perhaps, you know, in a way, that's what he learned. That's what was done to him, in a way.
What is your name?
Now tell me, what is your name?
Ramsay Snow.
Reek. My name is Reek.
What he does after he breaks them, he turns them into like these disgusting creatures, right? Those kind of like low lives. I mean, they have no free will. They have nothing. Usually, also very smelly. Like we can see. Remember Theon? He wants to control them in that sense. He controls them completely. Like they can't even show their resistance to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Robb Stark is gone. Oh, that's right, Reek. Robb Stark is dead. Sorry. I know he was like a brother to you, but my father put a knife through his heart. How do you feel about that?
I mean, they're completely not subjects anymore. They have no free will. They have nothing. He even takes away their names, thus turning them into a real object.
Right. He mutilates them.
What
does it say about him that he wants to cut another guy's penis? That's some Freudian shit right there.
Yeah, it is. Like we said with Joffrey, what did he learn? What was done to him? His father kept castrating him, you know, like not letting him have the Bolton name.
We've been flaying our enemies for 1,000 years. The flayed man is on our banners.
My banners, not yours. You're not a Bolton, you're a Snow.
Like not letting him have real power.
Right. He
exactly.
chose to toy with him.
He chose to toy with him, and that's what Ramsay is doing to other people. He's taking it to the extreme. He doesn't have, the self-control that Bolton has, or, Bolton has more political interests, and he also has, like, the power to be politically involved because he's a lord.
But he does have more self-control. I think that's why he hates Ramsay so much, because Ramsay lacks inhibitions. He can't stop himself sometimes from being so awful, and like Ramsay saying, and Roose is telling him, what the fuck are you doing? You're ruining everything because of your impulses.
Right.
If you acquire a reputation as a mad dog, you'll be treated as a mad dog. Taken out back and slaughtered for pig feed.
Okay, so try to break down all this Reek shit going on there, because Ramsay had in the books a previous Reek in the Dreadfort castle, and then he tricked everybody. Thought that he made himself to be Reek, and his Reek was dressed as him in order for someone to kill him. Whatever. Long story short, he also tricked Theon, thinking he was Reek, and then that was all a game, a ploy. Then he uncovered himself. Haha, I was Ramsay the whole time. Now you're a prisoner. Now I'm gonna cut off your penis and mutilate you. So, can you make sense of that kind of cruelty, or is George R. R. Martin just insane for thinking about that?
It actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, really, in the books and the series, it's much more extreme. But what Ramsay is basically doing, he's taking his bad parts, his abject parts, like the disgusting parts of himself, the way he feels about him.
Okay.
And he basically just projects them on an external image, and then they become the abject parts of himself. And
all the nasty parts.
All the nasty parts, and he can beat them. He can control them. He is now pure, right? He doesn't have the nastiness in him anymore. It's in the other side, the other person. And now he can control them and feel like he's gained control over those parts in himself. I mean, why Reek? Why did he choose the name Reek? I mean, if we go back to his mother, again, we go back to the scene of his mother and him as a baby in her arms. I mean, again, she's post-traumatic, she's depressed, she hates the baby. A lot of what a baby needs is someone to clean his secretions. And there's a very important role of the mother in that. I mean, it's very logical to assume that she was depressed in that kind of situation.
Like postpartum depression.
Exactly. But also like very objectively oriented in reality. And so what happened there is probably, we know about postpartum depressed women, that they have a problem attending to the baby's needs. They're in their depressive state and the baby is crying and they feel like they can't attend to him. And we can imagine Ramsay in the corner crying, and she's like, "Oh, shut up! I don't want to listen to you. Don't want to see you." And maybe Ramsay soiling himself, as babies, of course, do, and parents have an important role of cleaning their diapers, and no one is there to clean him up until the point where he really smells, and then his mother comes into him and, like, with a very angry and impatient face, is like telling him, "Oh my God, you reek." That's really a terrible thing to say to a baby, and that's what he saws. That's how he experiences himself, as someone who reeks.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. It's not me, it's psychoanalysis.
I feel like I had a breakthrough. Okay,
so he takes that reek, that image of himself, and he just projects it to another person in a fetishistic way, like the other person is an object. His enjoyment is about just breaking people, in a way, seeing that struggle within them, like seeing maybe the glimpse or the small remains of their subjectivity, having them resist him, and him proving again that he's superior and stronger, and take them down again, which is exactly what Bolton is doing to him, right? In also a different, in a different way, of course.
Yes.
But it's still the essence of it. So not letting him rise up, always bringing him down.
Right. Also, okay, and we haven't even got into the part where he rapes and tortures Sansa. So he has something to do with like a sexual fetish of some kind. He cuts off his penis, he rapes. So how does sex figure into all this conundrum of problems?
With perversions, it's rarely about sexuality. It's more about aggression.
Right, doesn't seem to enjoy sex just as it is.
No, it's another way for him to show his aggression. In psychoanalysis, it's considered more part of the death instinct than the life instinct, like the libido and stuff. It's more aggression. Part of his aggressive methods is sadistic methods, because it's like pure sadism, what he's doing, is sexual shaming, which is also a part of torture in the world. Like it's a form of torture.
Right, he has Theon watch him rape Sansa.
Exactly.
So he's like torturing two people at the same time.
Exactly. Shaming someone else is also about getting rid of your own shame. And he was himself shamed.
So unlike Joffrey, where Joffrey kind of looks for approval in some people, it seems that Ramsay doesn't care about any person's approval except his dad. And it's no accident that when politically he doesn't need his dad's approval anymore because he has a wife, then he kills him.
Right.
Because now politically he can do it.
Right. But I think he also kills him because he's reached a point where he can, and he is just sick of his dad taunting him all the time, and now he has another boy, he has another son.
Right.
So maybe that's another, I'm going to have to go through it for the next 18 years.
Right.
Lady Walder has given birth. A boy. Red-cheeked and healthy.
You'll always be my firstborn.
It's
Because now I think I got it. But now you're gonna take everything
Exactly.
away after you gave me your new name and everything. Ooh, okay. Okay, so if you had the incredible misfortune of having Ramsay Snowbolton lay on your couch and ask for your help to solve his problems, could you help this guy out?
Yeah, unfortunately,
It's
I don't
TFG.
think so. Yeah, he's
TFG, too far gone.
Yeah, too far gone. Yeah, it's true. I mean, he's the kind of person that you would lock in like the criminally insane department.
Ooh, right.
Like Hannibal Lecter or
Right,
people like
right.
that.
Hello, Clarice.
In order to have therapy, you need to be in a relationship with another person. First and foremost, I mean, before even the interventions and like everything you do, you need to be able to be in a relationship. And Ramsay is so unfortunately damaged in that sense that even reaching the point where you can start your interventions would be just too difficult. I mean, he's in a way beyond repair.
Right. He would not sit there and share and take advice and get in touch with his feeling and stuff like that. No.
No,
So he needs to be put down or something.
we're against that, but
In real life, but in the story, we're
But in
happy
the
he's
story.
dead. We're happy he's dead. Okay.
yeah, we're happy he's dead. Yeah.
We're happy he's dead. Okay, so thank you, Noga. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you want to become a patron, check it out. The link is below, or you go to gotacademy.com. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye. And she was a single mother, basically.
סליחה, הרסתי לך. זה לא אשמתך.
רוצה לראות אם זה אשמתי. ברור שזה אשמתי. תעבוד, יא שיט.
כן.
And she was a single mother.